Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and YouTube TV is increasing their rates once again, another $10 a month to a whopping $83 monthly. And unfortunately, it's only going to get worse as we get into the new year here. We're going to look at what headwinds YouTube TV has, along with some alternative ways that you might be able to save some bucks on your cord cutting. Let's get to it. Now, before we dive into today's topic, I do want to let you know that today's video is being brought to you by all of you. That includes everyone who subscribes to this channel and watches on a regular basis, along with those of you who have contributed to the channel, either through my donor box page at Lon.TV/support, through the YouTube membership program, through Floatplane or Patreon, and of course, those of you who leave super thanks along with your comments. All of it is greatly appreciated, and it keeps the lights on around here. We also have my great new merch store where you can buy some of the items that I've reviewed previously here on the channel, along with things like coffee mugs and a whole bunch of other cool items, with more on the way. And I just want to thank everyone for the support you've helped to bring to this channel over the last year. Our revenue from other sources is going down, but support from you is going up, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get into this week's topic. Now, this was announced yesterday on X, formerly known as Twitter, and there YouTube is blaming content costs for having to increase their monthly fee for their base package. And YouTube's business model is pretty much the exact same business model as cable television's is, which is that you pay your provider for the lineup of channels that they offer you, and those channels in turn require the provider to pay them a per subscriber fee for carrying that network in the lineup. And you, therefore, are paying for channels that you are likely not watching. And just like cable TV, YouTube TV doesn't allow you to pick and choose what you want a la carte. It's all or nothing. So whenever one of these regional sports networks or a broadcast group decides that they need more money, they just jack up the price, and YouTube doesn't want to lose the network, so they just pass it along. But how much longer is this going to go on for? We have seen a dramatic escalation in price since this service was announced. So when YouTube TV first came out in 2017, it was $35 a month, a real money saver. In fact, you were getting your local networks most of the time, along with a pretty decent cable lineup for a very reasonable price. But as you can see here, as the years went on, the price increased dramatically, likely because these providers caught on that YouTube TV was getting more and more subscribers, and they decided to raise their prices accordingly. Now, what's astounding to me is that these content creators are still locked into this dead business model. They are raising rates year over year, both locally and nationally, and somehow they think somewhere it'll just start working out for them, even though millions of people have already gone through the inconvenience of cutting their cable subscriptions. Remember how hard that is. You got to pick up the phone and deal with retention specialists. It's a nightmare. Meanwhile, YouTube TV will let you do it with a single click. So I don't see this lasting all that much longer as it is currently being provided, because this is a dead model being put over the internet as opposed to cable television. And it's only going to get worse because the local broadcast TV owners have put together something called the Coalition for Local News. Now, the reason why the local broadcasters have put this organization together is because they feel they're not getting enough money out of YouTube TV. Now, unlike a cable system where the local broadcaster can negotiate directly with the cable provider, for streaming services, they're not able to do that per federal law and regulation. So this group is lobbying to change all of that. And right now, the way it works is that if you've got a local ABC affiliate, the national ABC negotiates a deal for the entire country, and all of the affiliates come along with that. And that's how YouTube TV works right now. I am very confident that they are going to be allowed to start direct negotiations, and you're going to see this get more expensive and more complicated. We're going to see some markets get knocked off of YouTube TV because they're going to be asking for too much money. You're going to be seeing those things on television telling you to call YouTube TV and demand it. It's going to be a mess, and that is what next year is going to look like. So buckle up. You'll be paying more and probably seeing less as these broadcasters and the cable people want to get more and more money, even though viewership is declining. And wouldn't you think a business model based on actual viewership might be the better one to go with? But no, that's how they choose to make their money right now, and it's not something that's sustainable in my opinion. But are there alternatives to having to pay all this money to YouTube TV? Yes, there are. In fact, just the other day, we did a video about using an old-fashioned TV antenna to bring in your television stations to all of the TVs in your house. And I'm doing that with something called a gateway device. I have an HD Home Run, but there's also the Tableau, which I reviewed a little while ago, and soon the Zapper Box, which I also looked at recently, will allow for this gateway functionality. And you can learn more about them at Lon.TV/TV Gateway, because that's the video I just uploaded a couple of days ago. So the timing was very good on that. And what's nice about these devices is that when you set one up, you don't have to run antenna wire all over your house. You run it to one device, it puts the video out on your local network, and you can tune into live TV using an app just like you would a streaming provider. They're relatively easy to set up. There are some pitfalls ahead because the broadcasters want to encrypt all the over-the-air signals to make this more difficult, but for at least the next couple of years, it's a great alternative. And once you buy the box, you don't have to pay the cable company or YouTube TV another dime to get your local broadcast. So good stuff. Check out the video to learn more. So with our local networks now coming in over the antenna, we can get a little savvier in our shopping, and that's why you might want to look for something called a skinny bundle. And these are streaming providers that don't give you everything, but give you probably what people in your household might be looking for without having to get all the other stuff you don't want. Unfortunately, there's no real a la carte option out there for everything, but there are some good alternatives. Let me start off here with Sling. And Sling's been around for a while. And what they now have are two tiers of channel offerings. They have an orange and a blue. So on the orange plan, you pay $40 a month, and you get the Disney Channel, a bunch of ESPN networks, Freeform, Local Now, Motor Trend, and QVC. Now, you don't get, though, the channels that are in the blue tier. So that's Bravo, Discovery, E, Fox, Fox Sports, and a whole bunch of other stuff that you can see here. So if you're looking at this and decide, you know what, I don't need Disney and ESPN, then go with the blue one. And now you've got some cable networks that you might want for $40 a month, and you might get everything you need under that umbrella. And then both the orange and the blue get all of this other stuff here. So with Sling here, we're starting to see some changes based on these rising content costs to give consumers a little bit of choice in a business model that unfortunately doesn't allow for much of it. Another option is Philo. We looked at this not too long ago, and this one I believe costs $28 a month, and you get some pretty good channels in the mix here, including A&E and AMC, the History Channel, and a bunch of others here. Philo also has some additional free channels, typical free streaming types of things. We'll talk a little bit more about free streaming in a few minutes. And they have some add-ons that don't cost all that much more money, like MGM Plus and the Hallmark Channel and a few others. Again, another way to potentially save some money if these channels are something that might work for your household. And then you've got the really inexpensive one here called Frndly. Now, Frndly is the budget offering in the mix here. They're only about $10 a month, although they have an $8 per month standard definition offer. And the channel selection here is not extensive, but you get the History Channel, Lifetime, Hallmark, my wife's favorite channel, the Weather Channel, and a few others that people might be looking for. And if you are primarily watching one or more of the channels on the list here, you're definitely paying too much for those channels from another provider. So it's something I think worth considering if you are looking to save some money. Now, if you are a Comcast internet customer, they've got this new thing called Now that they're offering to try to keep you as their internet customer. They say it's only $20 a month, but you have to have an existing Comcast internet subscription to use it. But you do get Peacock with that, along with a pretty good cable selection. So let me pull up the list here and you can see what's on it here. So they say 125 plus channels, although some of them are kind of junk channels. But there are, I think, a pretty good mix of offerings here. But again, no locals, and that's because the locals are already expensive even under this network negotiation rule, and it's only going to get worse as the new year rolls forward here. Now, in some limited cases, you might be able to subscribe to the channels you like directly. So for example, Hallmark Plus is a service that you can subscribe to get the Hallmark channel and a bunch of their other subsidiary channels as well. And Discovery Plus is out there too, where you've got the whole library of Discovery content. And one other thing I would experiment with are some of these free TV providers that are out there. There's a lot of them. They're all completely free with advertising. Pluto TV, of course, is one of the more popular ones. You've got Fubo. And then, of course, our channel sponsor, Plex, has a very extensive free TV offering. We have covered them quite a bit in the past. By the way, they are not sponsoring this video, but I do use their channels from time to time. And it's got a lot of stuff here. They recently got the NFL channel along with a whole bunch of other free offerings. And I found if I go over to the news section here, I can often find my local channels like News 12, which is a local cable network near me, along with Local Now that brings in some of the local news stations' news packages. So you've got a lot of choice out here that you don't have to pay for at all. And don't forget, the platform you're watching me on right now, regular old YouTube, has a lot of content, including a lot of local news content from your local affiliates. Most of my local affiliates put all of their news packages up here on YouTube. And in an upcoming video, I'll show you how I am able to keep track of all those and see what's going on around me. So we've got a lot of choice here. I don't think you have to pay this much. And I think it would be important for consumers to continue exercising their power in the market here by not accepting these ridiculous increases in prices on what's now a very regular basis. If you had enough of cable costs to cut the cord, why keep paying for a dead business model? Let's show them what we're really looking for, which is better quality at a lower price. That's going to do it for this one. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.